Welcome to the second segment of the show today, guys. It's Wednesday, August 10th, 2011. I'm going to finish up with the whole SEAL Team 6 thing, and then I want to get onto the London riots because it's important that I cover that. And just to remind the listeners that I will be going to 2 hours. Right now, it's only an hour. I know some people get fired up because I usually get warmed up around the bottom of the first hour, and I get everybody else riled up, and they're ready for the second hour. I've even been told that 2 hours isn't enough. But starting in September, I don't have an exact date, but I will tell you soon. As soon as I find out, I'll let you guys know. So soon. But we're going to be going from 10 to 11 to 10 to 12, and Joe is going to be having the same thing on Tuesdays and Thursdays with Freedom Link Radio. So he's going to be going from 10 to midnight as well. So we're going to be doing 2-hour shows during the week. All original broadcasting, live, bringing stuff to you that scares the pants off the average person, which is good. I want people to wake up. I want you guys to – I want my show to be that show that you wait for during the week to tune into, kind of like, people used to, at least – people I know and myself used to tune into, like Bill Cooper and try to find Coast to Coast when Art Bell was on. And again, like I said before, Art Bell kind of has some shady things going on. Then again, so does George Norrie. Anyway, I don't want to get off onto that. So the whole bin Laden thing, okay? Here's the deal. This is all BS, okay? It is complete BS. And they're failing miserably, by the way, because they're not their playbook sucks. They're unimaginative. They don't veer too far from the template that they constantly use. And then, you can only use the same play 7 or 8 or 9 times before the opposing team says, hey, wait a minute, that looks slightly familiar. So, now they have to baffle you with special effects. That's why they have CNN. Suddenly, CNN has this animation within like a day or two. They have this retarded animation based on the government's official story, and then all of a sudden the official story is not what happened. They said that SEAL Team 6 wasn't going in to rescue Rangers. Now, just like I said, and many others, I wasn't the only person, but like I stated, SEAL Team 6 wouldn't be going in to help out another Special Forces unit that was pinned down. It doesn't make sense. If the Rangers are pinned down, you don't send in another special ops team. You send in 2 or 3 platoons of Marines, or you send in more Rangers, or the 10th Mountain Division, or the 101st or the 82nd Airborne Division, or Air Cav. You don't send in another Special Forces team. It doesn't make sense. They don't do that. Okay, you wouldn't have Navy SEALs riding in a National Guard Chinook. Adolf Bernanke, somebody he's in the chat room, one of the people in the chat room said, you got Air Force, Navy, and Army all crammed together in a piece of crap National Guard helicopter? Come on. That's not what happens. The military doesn't just slap together operations and run around roughshod like that. That screams of lies and setup and everything else. Just that's not how things work, especially the Special Forces. And they hold themselves to a higher degree, so it's not like SEALs would be like, okay, we'll just, we'll just hop on this piece of crap National Guard helicopter. And to understand, the National Guard doesn't maintain their stuff to the standards that the SEALs would have. The SEALs helicopter has, I don't want to say armor, but it's a little more armored up, as in it's got more armament on it, meaning it's got 2 GE miniguns on either side, one on each side. You wouldn't be able to get close enough with an RPG. That door gunner would annihilate anything on his side of the helicopter. He's got a complete 180-degree view. And the door gunner on the other side has the other 180 degrees. RPGs can't fly very high. So the helicopter would have had to have been flying extremely low for them to hit it. And when any helicopter pilot flies that low, they haul ass. They're not doing cruising around slow. Case in point, the next day, CNN, go on CNN's YouTube page and go back a couple days ago, and you'll see a report from one of their reporters, okay? He says, I was just in a Chinook, and the pilot was doing about 140 miles an hour, and he was doing evasive maneuvers. You think they just came up with that SOP in 24 hours on how to fly a helicopter when you're flying low? Really? Really? I'm expected to believe that the military just pulled that out of their ass in 24 hours. Really. And all these pilots know how to fly low and fast in 24 hours with no training ever before, right? Right? Wrong. Anybody with half a brain and some common sense that doesn't react emotionally or like a Pavlovian moron to the news can see this. The mainstream media is full of it. I mean, come on. If I came to you, right, and I said, dude, they're doing MK Ultra stuff. They're programming people, and they're making mind control slaves. And I gave you all these details. And then the next day I said, well, they're not really mind control slaves now. They're mind controlled, but I wouldn't say that they're slaves. They're kind of willing. And then the next day I was like, well, they're not doing mind control at all. I was completely wrong, and they're just teaching them to dance. And then the next day I was like, look, they love them. They take care of them. You see how I'm changing the story? And that's just off the top of my head. I mean, but you get the point. They change the story every day, and they expect you to look at them like they're a credible source, and then they have the balls to turn around and say the alternative media they're conspiracy theorists. They're nutbags. Why? Because we say, hey, this smells like crap, and I'm raising the BS flag, okay? I'm hoisting it loud and proud, and, oh, you're crazy. You should trust the government. The government's not wrong about everything. No, but there's a lot of stuff they do lie about, okay? And I'm not the one whose story has changed at all. All these other alternative media sources, they haven't changed their thesis, their stories when people come out and whistleblowers and everything, but the government has changed theirs. So if you were in any other relationship with anybody else besides the government, okay, because what we have with them is a relationship, whether you like it or not, okay, so put your relationship with the government to the side for a second and look at things like if this were a relationship with a woman or a man. If your husband came home, okay, and was out with his friends, and they smashed the car up and killed somebody in the process, and they said, well, we didn't mean to, but, Bob was drunk, and I tried driving him home, and then they grabbed the steering wheel, and then the next day, well, I was drunk too, and, then the next day, I was really the one that was hammered, and Bob was driving, and I grabbed the steering wheel, and we hit 4 or 5 parked cars and killed a couple that was in the car. You see my point? See how the story, if the story kept changing, the wife would be like, what a scumbag. You're a lying piece of crap. I can't believe anything that comes out of your mouth. You'd start to question everything that the husband or wife told you. If it was a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a brother or a mother or a friend or a cousin or an uncle, you would do the same thing. If it was a personal relationship, somebody a human being, and they kept changing their damn story about anything, whatever the case may be, and you found out that they lied to you, you would be all over it, and you would start to question everything that you'd been going on. You'd start to look at things and go, oh, wow, maybe this makes sense as to why. But when it comes to the government, people, they're afraid because it's comfortable to believe in this myth that some schmuck in a cave with a beard, on dialysis engineered 9/11. And, I'll end it with this going into the break. If you really believe that this Bin Laden death thing, the gunfight, like I said when it first came out, and then they said there's no gunfight now. What was he, jumping over his dialysis machine, John Woo style? Who writes this crap? We're going to break. We'll be right back. Don't buy it.